Did you know that Sony is making 2 live-action Spider-Man movies? It's something that I feel like we never talk about, and a lot of people don't even know. But yes, Sony is currently working on a live-action Silk series, as well as a live-action Spider-Man Noir series. And they're set to come out on Amazon Prime. And not gonna lie, when I first heard about this, I was actually pretty bullish on the idea, because to be totally honest, Amazon is currently making the best live action comic book series. I think that The Boys and Gen V and Invincible are better than what the MCU is currently doing on Disney Plus. And I would even argue that they're better than DC shows like Peacemaker or Doom Patrol, which I actually quite enjoy. And obviously, they're better than Titans. Now, on the more negative side of things, this is Sony making more Spider Man content without Spider Man. But at least these are like spider characters. Like you got a Spider Woman and another Spider Man, technically, right? Like this isn't like Mighty Morbin time or Craven the Hunter who got bit by a lion, so now he has lion powers. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? And presumably we're not being bamboozled like we were with Madam Web, where they tried to tease us with like, oh no, look, there are spider people in it, and you actually go and watch the movie, and literally all of the Spider-Woman stuff that you see in the trailers, that is literally the only footage of spider people that you get in the movie. It's like, those are all just visions that the villain is having of the Spider Women coming to kill him in the future. You don't actually get to see them come into their own as spider people. Madam Web, not going to get into it. Watch my review. But yeah, like Silk and Spider-Man Noir are by far the most interesting projects that Sony is currently cooking up. And for Spider-Man Noir, we actually have some pretty interesting news. So it's being reported that Nicolas Cage is in serious talks to star as the lead in Spider-Man Noir. Now, this is already inherently neat casting because Nicolas Cage already voices Spider-Man Noir in the Spider-Verse movies, and he's definitely one of the best parts about Spider-Verse. He always gets some of the best laughs in that movie. Granted, in those movies, he is kind of played off as a joke character, and you would assume that if you were to do a live-action Spider-Man Noir thing, it would take itself a bit more seriously. But Nicolas Cage is obviously a fantastic actor, and he would be able to adapt to that environment. The one thing that might make this not the most ideal casting is just the fact that Nicolas Cage is 60, and do you cast a 60-year-old actor as your Spider-Man? I mean, maybe. Like, I don't know much about Spider-Man Noir. Obviously, he's like a detective character, so maybe getting a 60-year-old actor is actually perfect for the role. And Spider-Man Noir is supposed to be like this gruff detective character. But at the same time, this character is going to be doing a lot of action and jumping around and sticking to walls and wire work and whatnot. And I don't know that Nicolas Cage is really going to be able to do all of that. Now, of course, I'm having a fucking debate with myself. You get stunt doubles to do all of that shit. He's wearing a mask anyways, who cares? But, you know, there is an element of realism where you want to believe that your lead actor can do all of these things. But obviously, if they cast Nicolas Cage, that would be awesome. So hopefully that goes through and the show actually ends up being good, because there is also some worrying stuff happening with Silk. It's being reported that Silk has let go of its entire writer's room. The show is said to be getting a creative overhaul, and that it's being refocused with a more male-skewing audience in mind. Now, to be clear, I'm not really sure what that means exactly. Like, were they going for more of a Miss Marvel tone? You know, where was it? You know, are they going more Disney Channel original series? And are they now going to fucking Game of Thrones? Are we now going to get a gritty and grounded Silk show where she's breaking bones and taking names and kicking ass or whatever? I don't know. The article kind of mentions that the studio and its streaming arm Prime Video have found success with a number of male skewing series, including Rachel, Jack Ryan, and The Terminal, though more female skewing YA series such as The Summer I Turned Pretty have also performed well. So I don't know if that's just them speculating that it used to be a YA type of series, and that now it's turning into more of like a Reacher or a Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit series. Like, the article just doesn't explicitly say that. Now, I have seen people on Twitter see the fact that it's pivoting to a more male skewing audience, and that it's now going to be like too horny and problematic or whatever. And honestly, we simply don't have any information to know one way or the other. And people started talking about Silk's origins, which are admittedly kind of weird. Now, apparently when the Silk character was first introduced, she's a character that was bitten by the same spider that bit Peter. So that led them to have an uncontrollable attraction to one another. So again, I haven't read the comic books, so I don't know. But it seems like she might have just been a character that was only really there to be like horny for Peter Parker. And again, I haven't read any of those original comics. I really don't know much about the Silk character, but I'm not going to lie, sounds a little weird. But I will say that, first of all, Peter Parker is most likely not even going to be in this series. Like I highly doubt that they would be able to convince Tom Holland to show up in a streaming show. Also, because like if Tom Holland were to show up in that show, then that would have to tie these shows into the MCU, and Disney isn't going to want to put an MCU show on Amazon Prime. So that's like a whole weird situation. Most likely, if anything, these shows are going to be in the Mighty Morphin universe, where they kind of in the MCU by multiverse shenanigans. So I don't even think that they would have the opportunity to put Peter Parker in this show. And I also wonder, I don't know this for sure, but I wonder, is Sony even able to use like another Peter Parker in their projects, considering they have a partnership with Disney? Like, I wonder if part of Disney and Sony's agreement means that, hey, we're making the Peter Parker Spider-Man content. You can make your fucking Mighty Morphin time and your Kraven the Hunters and your Venoms, fine, whatever, but we are making Peter Parker Spider-Man stuff. So I also don't know if like a live action Peter Parker Spider-Man would be able to show up in a Silk show, or if there would be conflicts of interest. I don't know. So I say all that to say that I don't even know that they would have the opportunity to make a Silk show where her pheromones are make her really horny for Spider-Man. I don't know that they would even be able to do that. If I'm just reading into what the article is saying, I think it's most likely that they saw that Silk was going to be like a female-led character, and they were like, yes, we're going to make a show for women now. It's going to be like a YA thing where she's going to school and she has a crush on the guy. And the article also talks about how the show is about her finding her missing family. Like, it just might be more focused on being like a mystery action series instead of trying to appeal to young girls in like a YA format. Which, to be fair, I don't think is necessarily a good or a bad choice. I think the most important part is that you just make a good fucking show. Yeah, you can try and skew your audience to be more male, but if you put out a shitty show, you put out a shitty show. Like, I would argue that Miss Marvel is one of the better MCU series. Like, sure, technically Secret Invasion is a more male skewing audience show, but it's also not very good. So guess which one I like better. But we'll see. I tend to have some amount of confidence in Amazon. I mean, I think they do a really great job with their comic book shows as well. You know, they also have Reacher, which is really good. I quite enjoy The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I know people are really enjoying Mr. and Mrs. Smith at the moment. I feel like because of the Lord of the Rings series, people have like a sour taste in their mouth with Amazon. But I don't know. I feel like the ratio is a lot more good than bad. But maybe it's just the things that I've happened to watch. And maybe they do have a bunch of other trash stuff. But I don't know. Let me know what you think about these. Do you have any interest in these? Or do you put them in the same basket as Mighty Morphin, Power Rangers, and Madame Web? Let me know. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.